There is now some lockdown trouble at a San Antonio school yesterday, and we'll have that for you in just a minute. But first, let's go to Corpus because here in Corpus, there is now a drug. There's now a drug called fentanyl that's popping up here in the coastal bend. And before we go to Bill Churchwell, for those who want to know what fentanyl is, let's give you a little background on what fentanyl means. Fentanyl is a powerful opioid drug used in the treatment of severe pain. But it's popping up all over the coastal bend. A high risk for addiction and dependence can cause respiratory distress and death when taken in high doses or when combined with other substances, especially alcohol or other illegal drugs such as heroin and or cocaine. And the side effects of fentanyl similar to opiate analogous fentanyl produces effects such as relaxation, euphoria, pain relief, sedation, confusion, drowsiness, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, urinary retention, pulmonary constriction, and respiratory dispersion. The long-term side effects is fractures in the elderly. Chronic and severe consumption can lead to serious death problems such as bowel obstruction, breathing problems during sleep, heart attack and heart failure, immune system suppression, hormonal and reproductive issues in both men and women. That probably means sex. Also side effects: confusion, constipation, nausea, vomiting, and slowed breathing. An overdose can have tiny pupils, loss of consciousness, shallow, irregular, stop breathing, limp body, blue, cold, pale skin, choking or gurgling noises. That's the overdose. The long-term effects is heart attack, hormonal and reproductive issues in both men and women, and anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders. A bit later, I'm going to tell you what you can do to make sure you don't take opiates again and what parents can do. But first, here's Bill Churchwell. But first, let me tell you something. Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. Okay? If you do, you're bad. Stuff is bad. Do drugs. Okay? That's bad. Drugs are bad. Okay? Let's go to Bill Churchwell.
Is something that has been around for a while, described as a very strong pain medicine that is about 50 to 100 times more addictive and stronger than morphine. Something that is now being trafficked by cartels, made to look like pills, even candy. But it also comes with deadly consequences.
The cocaine of the 80s, right? It's the new epidemic that we're seeing.
Special Investigator Mike Temez is in charge of the DA's Criminal Interdiction Unit. The unit patrols Highway 77 in an effort to stop illegal cartel smuggling. He says fentanyl is popping up on their radar more and more.
And just to give you an idea of how much fentanyl we're having, I recently helped out the port of entry in Roma with an 18-wheeler they had. Long story short, when they searched it, there was 55 kilos of fentanyl inside that.
But the biggest concern, he says, is that this deadly drug is already here.
And a lot of overdose deaths in Corpus Christi that all occurred because of fentanyl. And most of the time, these people didn't even know that there was fentanyl in the drugs.
That's because he says the cartels are also using it to cut other drugs like cocaine and heroin. In fact, he says the vast majority of overdose deaths in Corpus Christi are all a result of fentanyl. Its addictive nature means big bucks for cartels.
At $25,000 a kilo, That's how much they're paying per kilo right now. As it goes further north, it increases up to $40,000 around the Houston area.
I have issued this executive order designating cartels as terrorists in Texas.
Strong words from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who is calling the increase of overdose deaths a crisis.
People have been, of all ages, have been using more opioid products being bought off the street. We're still seeing elderly patients buying heroin, people 60, 70 years of age.
Dr. John Lucens is the medical director at Corpus Christi Medical Center, Bayview.
It's so strong that they are coming in before they even know. I mean, they're coming in to get off heroin, but they're having overdoses that happen in the emergency department or else out in the police and the EMS.
His message?
Get off of opiates, and there's multiple ways. It's very difficult, but the withdrawal won't kill you.
Bill Churchwell, 3 News.
All right, Bill, thanks for that report.
Thanks, Bill, for that report. So again, if you're addicted to opiates, quit using those opiates. As I said before, these side effects can happen. It can have treatment, inpatient treatment, and you have medical detox. That's the 3 things. That's the things that can happen. But don't let addiction take control of your life. That's the bottom line here when you say drugs. Don't let it control your life. Still ahead, that lockdown that happened at San Antonio High School. We'll bring you the very latest and why staff members have been treated by EMS. Also a bit later, my apology to you guys out there for almost being racist about what I talked about on Monday with that Black Little Mermaid. That's a bit later, and also a bit later, Dr. Phil talks about hazing for his 21st season. Some very frightening stories. Stay with us. Up front tonight, misleading lockdown. Yesterday, there was a lockdown that happened at Jefferson High School in San Antonio. Now, during that time, parents were knocking on the glass, and misleading information was made, and staff were being treated. So, with that in mind, let's bring you the very latest.
Mom, what's for...
Hold on a second. This was live stream. This is live stream. Alright. Okay, let's get to that information.
Now at 10, brand new video of a school on lockdown. Officers forcing their way into classrooms at Jefferson High School. Meanwhile, outside, total chaos. Police trying to control parents who swarmed to the school, worried about their children. Today, the SAISD campus was on lockdown after reports of a shooting. But let's be clear, there was no shooting. However, emotions were high.
There was blood.
KENS 5 reporter Henry Ramos is live outside Jefferson tonight. And Henry, you got a hold of a new letter from school officials. What are you learning tonight?
Well, EC's in this letter moving forward. School officials say that they're going to review how they notify parents. Officials say they're going to learn from what happened here just hours ago and then share that with families too. They call today discomforting. I also learned that nearly 90 officers with SAPD and the school district showed up. Here's more of what went down.
This is not the same thing like what happened a while back.
Frantic parents at Jefferson High School were greeted by officers.
There's plenty of officers in there.
Calm before the storm. It turned into tense moments between parents and police. Families showed up worried sick. At one point, a window was broken and blood was on the ground. On Tuesday, SAISD says a call came in that a shooting happened inside a classroom.
Out of nowhere, we just hear like lockdown.
As police investigated, They realized
There was no shooting. No shooting.
Officials also say misinformation caused parents to rush to the school. Inside, officers were sweeping the rooms, making sure students and staff were safe. 14-year-old Nehemiah Fernandez was inside.
Got to like the side of the classroom by the wall. We all sat down. 30 minutes goes by. We see two cops come in the door like with big heavy guns. It was crazy.
The freshman texting his mom, Amanda Lauda, to let her know he was safe.
Oh, I do understand parents panicking, scared, nervous, especially after what happened with the Uvalde shooting.
Lauda was not one of the parents that showed up to the school. She does thank the nearly 90 officers who were there.
For being here, doing what they could, and not taking it lightly. Because nowadays, things like that we can't take lightly.
Very true. So what brought out such a large police response? Here's what we know. Again, to recap, someone called SAPD's non-emergency number to say there was a shooting inside the school. But again, to be clear, that did not happen. There were also reports that there was a fight between students, but school officials say tonight that staff has not been able to confirm that. They also went on to add that counselors will be here at the school tomorrow for any students and staff who need it. We're live in the West Side tonight. Henry Ramos, KENS 5. EC's.
Thank you, Henry.
Now to why some staff are being treated following that horrific lockdown. Could it be because of the blood on the ground? Could it be because of that broken window? We don't know. What we do know, there was no shooting, but there was broken glass and blood on the ground. So could that happen? Take a look.
Tonight, questions remain after a lockdown at Jefferson High School. Police in the school district said there was no active shooter on campus Tuesday. But San Antonio ISD says they will now review how to notify parents after many rushed to the school to get their children, leading to chaos on the campus. KENS 5 reporter Troy Kless joins us live outside Jefferson High School. And Troy, we're now learning some staff were hurt during an altercation outside the building.
Yeah, that's right, Deb. The San Antonio Police Department told us today that EMS treated school faculty on scene here yesterday during all of that chaos. And they also say that the man who broke a window was restrained by officers, but then was later taken to a hospital. Now, after the Robb Elementary School shooting almost 4 months ago, it's leaving many families, including the one that we spoke to, feeling anxious, and the school district understands why. Learning of a lockdown through a text.
My anxiety was kind of up because that's my little sister, and we just went through a tragedy not too long ago in Uvalde.
Vanity Parrish says her sister, a Jefferson High School freshman, went into the library to take cover.
I was kind of like texting her and telling her that she's going to be okay.
There was no weapon and no threat, the school district said. While almost 90 officers cleared the inside of the building and tried to bring calm to the outside.
My stepdad went to go get my sister. He said it was a bunch of chaos.
Oh, it's tough. Controlling the chaos will be a challenge moving forward, says Taylor Robertson. He teaches criminal justice at Schreiner University in Kerrville.
We shouldn't tell people just to stay away from schools. We should tell them where to go. We can have places where people can rally in parking lots and at other facilities. And then as more information comes in, we can provide that to parents and community members.
Moving forward, the district will have staff on campus grounds to inform families of what's happening and how parents can reunite with kids. Parrish's message to her sister is to make it home safe.
And that's what I kind of told my sister. She was going back to school today. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Anything happens, you put yourself and you hide yourself.
SAISD superintendent wrote a letter to the community today saying that the district will enhance its capability to share information either through text messages or through their social media channels. Now, when he was here yesterday, he did say that all the procedures were followed to the letter and that they weren't going to release any kids to parents until they were absolutely sure that there was no threat here. We're live at Jefferson High School. Troy Kless, KENS 5.
So now we know why that blood never happened. Why that blood happened and why someone Somebody punch that window. Okay, when we return, we're going to have more about this Jefferson High lockdown. How San Antonio ISD says they will be better at communicating during this challenging time. Then my apology to you guys for almost being racist on Give Me a Break Monday when I talked about that new Little Mermaid teaser. Then probably some hazing if we have time, so stay with us. There's still more outrage at Jefferson High, including from that bogus non-shooting threat. Now remember, there was no active shooting. There was no active shooting. Nobody was shot, but parents had to rush in when they heard active shooter from someone who called that non-emergency number. So there were more details to happen. So let's take a look at this.
That there was no shooting. No shooting occurred on Jefferson High School campus.
The chief of SAISD reassuring parents and students this afternoon after reports of an active shooter on the campus of Jefferson High School. SAISD police confirmed there was not a shooter on campus, but concerned parents rushed to the school, some banging on the glass and shouting at officers trying to get their kids out of the building. KENS 5's Vanessa Croy was there when the chaos erupted and joins us live from Jefferson High School. Vanessa, did police ever find a weapon on campus?
Well, Audrey, SAISD Police Chief Johnny Reyes told us that they did a methodical search of every single classroom here at Jefferson High School, and they didn't find any weapons, nor did they find any evidence that a shooting ever happened out here today. But that didn't stop parents from rushing the building, wanting to get their children out of school. Now, you can see behind me, the chaos has been replaced by calm today. San Antonio Police telling us about an hour ago the scene is now clear. But it started around 1 o'clock today when SAISD police say that a few calls came in that a shooting had happened on campus. They received an anonymous call through SAPD stating a shooting had happened near classroom 301. Well, the campus went into immediate lockdown. Both San Antonio ISD and SAPD responded. They said that strike teams did methodical search room by room, but no weapons were found on campus. Then a report came through for another call saying a fight had happened and somebody in that fight had pulled out a gun. But the chief of SAISD Police, Reyes, said that those people were interviewed, and again, they confirmed that no weapons were found and no shots had been fired on campus. Now, it did take a long time to get get those children reunited with their parents. That's because they say that officers had to go room to room and dismiss classroom by classroom. But parents were immediately visibly upset the students weren't dismissed faster.
Emotions are high. And I understand that. Parents are concerned, and we understand that. It's very hot out here, and we understand that. But please be mindful that we are taking every precaution to ensure safety.
That's right.
Now, Audrey, San Antonio Fire Department did tell us that 2 people did receive medical attention out here and were taken to the hospital. One for chest pains and another for a cut he or she received on her hand. We have not confirmed, though, if they are staff or they are parents. We do know those 2 receiving medical attention are adults and not students. Once again, no active shooter reported out here today at Jefferson High School. Reporting live on the west side, Vanessa Croy, KENS 5.
Thanks so much for that update, Vanessa.
And we'll update you as things go along. But speaking of updating, let's go now to Oxford, where just yesterday, Oxford Unified Teachers officials are saying they're not, I told people not talking about this. Parents have questions after 2 Oxford board members resigned this week. We have Corey Bailey and Tom Donnelly, who's the president. Corey Bailey's a board member, and Tom's the president. For the second time in less than a week, an Oxford school board member has resigned, which has caused parents to have questions. Last week it was former school board president Tom Donnelly who resigned, and this week it was the board treasurer Corey Bailey. The parents of Change for Oxford Group say they're not impressed with the idea of the outside firm. But the ununionized but according to Detroit News, the Oxford United Teachers officials advised not to talk to investigators. Educators and administrators of Oxford Community Schools advised not to participate in interviews for a third-party investigation into November 30th school massacre at Oxford High, according to an email obtained by the Detroit News. The outside attorney who does work for the Michigan Education Association sent an email on July 19th to Oxford Education Association President saying, should all tell members to say, because this was involved in pending litigation, the district attorney has advised me not to make any necessary statements. I feel like it's putting bad press on him. But Tom explains that, but there's no explanation to this because we know he resigned, but there's still some unanswered questions. So we'll keep you posted as this goes along. And what about Uvalde? It's been this weekend, in 2 days from now, it's going to be 4 months since Uvalde. 4 months. It's going to be the 4th anniversary of this horrible massacre. And just 9 hours ago, a mother led activist groups to install a giant roadside reminder of the Uvalde shooting. Quoting Governor Greg Abbott, it could be worse. Stop school gun violence, vote Beto. Mothers Against Greg Abbott first revealed its plan to San Antonio to Uvalde signage on September 13th, asking for $9,000 in donations to fund 2 billboards. In total, they raised $75,000. So that's the updates we can give as far as it goes. And just 18 hours ago, there's now action to replace the Robb Elementary. And just yesterday, the father of the Uvalde victim memorialized massacre with a chilling new tattoo. So that's a great reason to update on. So yeah. When we come back, an apology for what I talked about on Monday. Stay with us. Before we move on to our hazing, before we move on, I want to apologize. If you saw Monday's Give Me a Break, and I talked about that Little Mermaid, new Little Mermaid trailer, and showed you guys some people saying that that Little Mermaid's white, not black. I made a statement saying if Disney wants to do this and Disney wants to do that, that's their choice. But if you thought I was racist, if I was racist, I am very sorry. I mean, for 5 to 6 years in the show, I've done nothing but give you guys help and tackle through issues. But this really took the cake here. I mean, when I first started the show 6 years ago, we weren't going to talk about racism, but after talking about what happened in with Thaddeus Lott with what was this school? It was the Wesley schools who think that poor black children cannot succeed with the black principal, and now this. So if you thought I was racist by watching Monday's episode, I am very sorry. This will not happen again, from my perspective. Again, I want to apologize for any African Americans that were offended from watching Monday, and I'm sorry. All right, now let's get to hazing right now. Hazing victims' families to receive nearly a $1 million settlement from the Virginia University. A Virginia school will pay nearly $1 million to the family of a freshman who died after a fraternity hazing incident. This happened March of last year. The agreement with the family of Adam Oakes also requires Virginia University to make additional changes to its fraternity and sorority life. The deal was approved by the Fairfax County Circuit Court. The school announced in a news release. And also, this week is National Hazing Prevention Week. Now, if you remember, on the season premiere, we focused in on hazing in our schools. Now, if you watched Dr. Phil today, today, which was yesterday, but you guys get the picture here. When I do shows on and midnight because of I'm like really busy and I'm like trying to gather up some facts. We may do it behind the scenes this season, so be on the lookout for that. So when I started looking into this, when I started doing this premiere, I was thinking to myself, what if Dr. Phil did this? I was thinking to myself in my head, what if Dr. Phil did this? And suddenly he did. I'm not going to play you the full episode, but what I want to point out is I also created a group called End the Silence on College Hazing on Facebook, which I told you I was going to do, and now I did. If you would like to participate in this group and tell your story, we will have that in the description below, as well as on the Give Me a Break newsletter, which is givemebreak.substack.com, with tips on how to prevent this from happening again. So again, that's End the Silence on College Hazing. Now, this week is Hazing Prevention Week at WKU. Across the country, events are being held to bring awareness to and mitigate hazing. Hazing particularly is the process college age youth go through to join fraternity and sorority. It's undesirable activities inspiring members is pressure to into excessive drinking, paddling, etc. So yeah. I'm really happy these people are stepping forward and doing this thing. And Dr. Phil did an episode today talking about this issue. Which we're not gonna, yeah. Let's talk about Stone Fultz. They spoke out on Dr. Phil after that hazing incident. So let's take a look at this.
Fultz, a former high school athlete, business major, aspiring clothing designer, was just 20 years old when he died after a fraternity ritual where new pledges were gifted a bottle of family liquor by their big brother and encouraged to drink the entire thing. Now, according to witnesses, Stone drank around a fifth of whiskey in less than 20 minutes. He was then brought back to his room by two frat brothers and left alone. His roommate discovered him unconscious and attempted CPR while his girlfriend called 911. Stone's parents are willing to listen to it only because hearing this could help someone realize the severity of this issue and save a life.
Exactly. Let's listen.
911, what is your emergency?
Someone that we know is non-responsive. He drank alcohol, like a lot of alcohol. His face is really purple, and his pupils aren't responsive.
Do you see his chest rising up and down?
No, not right now.
Okay, he's blue?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's a good chance he's not breathing.
Wait! Oh my god.
Okay, listen to me, Maddie. You need to help your friend. Calm down.
Okay.
Do you see his chest?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is it rising
Oh
or
my
not?
god! No! Okay, his face is very purple.
You feel comfortable
doing
doing
CPR?
Someone is doing CPR right
Yes,
now?
they're trying. Yes.
Do they know how to do CPR?
Okay. His name is Wade. He's doing
Okay,
CPR.
put Wade on speakerphone and let me talk to him.
Okay.
Are you starting the compressions again?
Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The girls need to go in another room. 23.
Hey, go to another room.
25.
Someone's here.
Someone's there. Open the door
Yeah.
for him. Keep doing CPR.
It's right here.
2, 3, 4.
The ambulance is here.
The ambulance is there with you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
let you go.
I know that's hard to listen to, and
it was hard to
God
listen
bless you both for willing to share that so people understand, because that could be their child. I mean, Dad, what do you say to yourself about that?
A lot of anger, frustration that they left him alone, knowing he just drank a liter of bottle and he was not coherent when they took him out of the event, took him back to his apartment, lay him on the couch, and then they videoed him.
And they made fun of him and thought he was snoring, when in reality, he was aspirating and dying.
Well, I warn you, this video
is
very important, but it's hard to watch, and we show this with y'all's full permission, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Take a look.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's trying to.
That's my son. That's my boy right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woo! Baby. Yes, sir. Stone. Stone's out here rolling through the mud. That's wall, bro. Little pebble. Got his nice little friend, the garbage can. That boy puked like half the time he's Stone already. Focus your energy. You're a mannequin, bro?
The video was shown in court, recorded by a fraternity member who took a plea in the case, right? And how many people were subject to prosecution in this case?
8.
8. 6 took pleas?
Correct.
Do you have a story or a question for me?
Well, yeah, we're gonna have time for we have time for one more, and we're gonna wrap it up here.
So we need.
Because after watching that video, I am stunned from what I saw.
So I just got this.
Let's just get to that interview.
So easy. He was a good listener and just the most loving, caring person you would ever meet.
He was talking to you guys about what was coming up and what he was going to have to do, and he wasn't thrilled about it.
Correct.
What did he say?
I had a conversation with him the night before, and he was telling me that part of the last thing he had to do to get into the fraternity was to drink a lot of alcohol. And I told him, I said, you don't have to do it. He said, no, we do. Everyone has to drink.
Some of the pledges said they were told to tell their professors that they are probably not going to be here tomorrow.
Correct.
They're going to be absent tomorrow.
Yeah.
So again, they knew what was going to happen, that this was going to be a knockout night.
Also instructed to bring a case of water and a loaf of bread, each individual new pledge.
Okay.
Okay.
And they were told to dress in formal attire.
Correct.
Correct.
And that was actually so they could use
Their tie.
the ties as blindfolds.
Correct.
This doesn't sound strange in terms of the kind of things you were hearing with regard to Danny, right?
It's very, very similar. Very similar. I mean, a lot of the stories we hear are almost identical.
Stone found out who his big was in this, and it was Jacob Krenn, who was later charged in his death, correct? And when this all started unfolding, each little was gifted a bottle of the family drink.
Correct.
And expected to drink it. And how much do you know about what he consumed?
So he consumed a full liter of bourbon in a matter of 18 minutes.
Do you have a story or?
Well, thank God I'm not in college. Never went to college. Never participated in these sororities or fraternities. And if I did, I would screw myself up. And if I saw someone participate in these events, I would seriously screw you up. Take away that liquor, throw in the garbage, throw in the dumpster. You'd have to crawl in that dirty dumpster to get that liquor. And trust me, brother, this ain't gonna happen for you. Dive in, down, and dirty. In jail. If this does not end here. On Friday, more about this crap. The parents that were on Dr. Phil, they want to abolish the grief-like pledge. They want this to end. There's more about this probably tomorrow morning, which is today, or we'll probably do it on Friday. But if we do it tomorrow morning, here's what I have coming up for you on Friday. Well, yeah, I guess I could tell you. Friday we're gonna have kids and porn. Now remember, we told you about kids watching porn in school. One case sent to juvie for watching porn and getting them counsel from the Young Turks. But what about kids and porn? There's probably a Lincoln difference. We can't do that today. We'll figure out something else. So look for that story, part of something else on Friday, as along with part 3 of this college case. This investigation is going to continue as we try to end this. And if you would like to join this End the Sounds on Hazing Facebook group, we'll put that in the description below. If you want to learn how you can stop hazing, I'll be posting an article on the newsletter, which is giveybreak.substack.com, with tips and information what you got parents out there can do. And if you'd like to share your story about when you were hazed, you're welcome to share your story on camera or on the Facebook group, and I probably will say your name or probably won't say your name. So I really hope that you can send a message out there so that we can end this right now. It's got to stop. Somebody has to say, enough. Enough is enough. Let's end this now. That's all of this edition of Give Me Break Wednesday going to Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow morning for part 2 of this hazing. Or if not, if I don't do it tomorrow morning, we'll do it again probably tomorrow afternoon, or probably we'll do it on Friday. So we'll see you again tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, or on Friday. For all of us here at YouTube, it's not a great night. Not a great night to end on hazing. Should have done it at the very beginning. For all of us here at YouTube, Give Me a Break. Good night.